All right, so let's get started with some, first of all, let's get started with some vocab. So when we're talking about volume, the very first thing we're going to talk about is the fact that volume is the amount of space inside a solid figure. So if you've got this solid figure, if you've got, for example, your phone or your laptop, you've got a solid figure. So how much volume does it take to make that solid? All right. And we were talking about this kind of with a Lego kind of situation. So if I wanted to make a laptop out of Legos, the volume is the amount of Legos it would take to build that shape. Okay. So for example, if I wanted to make a straight line out of Legos, if I wanted to make, let's say, I'm going to make a wall out of Legos. So I would need 1, 2, 3, 4. I would need 4 Legos to make this shape. So the volume of this shape would then be 4. Okay? So that's kind of what you're looking at. You're kind of looking at how much would it take me to make this? It also works with liquid. So say, for example, if I have a cup, how much volume would it take for me to fill that cup? So this morning, it would be how much coffee is Ms. Haber going to drink this morning, where at lunch, it would be how much water am I going to drink, or how much tea am I going to drink, or how much orange juice am I going to drink. It's going to be something different, but it's going to still be the amount that I would need to fill that cup all the way to the top. All right? The second thing that we need to talk about is cubic units. And you keep seeing that on our morning work. So cubic units is going to be your unit of measurement of how we're going to write this. So for example, we're going to go back to this one in just a minute, this 4 Legos that we would need. So cubic units are used to measure your volume. So if we go back to, say, our Lego example, this would be 4 cubic units. And you say cubic because they're cubes. Okay? All right? So when we're doing like our slides and when we're doing our work, we're going to do what is called an if-then statement. So stay with me on drawing a cube. So you do your square. And then you're going to take some diagonal lines off of these. It's not going to be perfect. It's okay. Mine's not perfect either. But if a cube equals 1 cubic unit, then, and this is what I mean by an if-then statement. So if a cube, if that's true, if a cube is 1 cubic unit, so if that is true, then you can find the volume by counting the cubes. And I'm going to draw another cube here. So if that is true, if a cube equals 1 cubic unit, then by counting the cubes, I could find the volume. So for example, if I go back up into this picture, if I count my cubes, even though they're going a different direction, they're still cubes. 1, 2, 3, 4. It is 4 cubic units. All right. So with that being said, we're going to kind of look at what does this mean as far as we're concerned. Now, here's where it's going to be okay if you're not perfect. Okay, we're going to try to draw. We're going to try to draw some cubes. Do not stress at all if they're not beautiful. Okay, I'm not looking for beauty. I'm looking for you to understand that if a cube is 1 cubic unit, then what does that mean to you? All right, so here's what we're going to try to do. Like I said, it's not going to be beautiful, but we're going to try. So I need you to go ahead and make yourself a tower first. Okay, so that's kind of how we're starting this, is we're going to start with a tower. All right. Now, once you have your tower, we're going to go ahead and change this into a group of cubes. So stay with me. Okay, I want to take a diagonal line going off of there. All right. Now I'm going to do the same thing on this side, and you're going to try to make them the same length. If they're not, it's okay. Like I said, I'm not an art teacher, I'm a math teacher, so we just going to roll with it. As long as you understand that they are diagonal and we're making that stack of cubes. Okay? Now I want you to go ahead and connect your 2 diagonal lines. All right? So right now we have the top of our tower. All right. So we're going to come down to this corner right here, and we're going to again do a diagonal, and you're going to try to get it out about as far as this intersection right here. If you don't make it, it's okay, because again, we don't have rulers and we're doing the best we can. And go ahead and connect your top to your bottom. So right now you have one very large cube, and we're getting ready to split this into cubes, but I want to make sure everybody's ready first. All right. So I'm going to go back to my original one. I'm going back to this one right here, and I'm going to draw a line the best I can straight up the center. And basically I'm cutting those into half. All right. So now I want to cut this main one into thirds. So do the best you can trying to cut that into 3 into thirds. So you should end up with 6 pieces because you did your 1 line, vertical line from your top to your bottom. And now I want you to put 2 horizontal lines from left to right. All right. And hopefully we're good there. All right. Now it's going to be when it gets a little trickier. I want to cut this top one in half. But if I go straight up, I've made a triangle. So you kind of have to go diagonal with it and put your diagonal line going straight across just like that. All right. Now I want to just cut this one in half because I'm going to have 2 stacks. And see, mine wasn't perfect. This one's bigger than this one, but it's okay. It's all right. All right. Now we're going to cut our side in half. So you have to start where this meets and go ahead and bring it down, because that shows that I have now made 2 stacks. Yes.
It looks like on the
Mm-hmm.
So on says there's a fourth on the top, a third in the middle, and by the side is a half.
Yep, we're going to fix that in just a second. All right, so now you're going to take each of these lines, 1, 2, and you're going to go straight across that shows that we stacked those Legos up to go ahead and do it. All right. So as soon as you get that done, we're going to label this. All right. So here we go. We know that volume equals your length times your width times your height. And I got very, very close to the edge of that paper, but that's all right. Or the other way you're going to see it is volume equals length times width times height. And so what we're going to do right now is we're going to go ahead and we're going to find our length, our width, and our height. All right? So the first thing I'm going to find is my length. So I'm going to come down here, and this right here is the length. And it happens to be 1, 2 cubes. So under my length, I'm going to write a 2 because I have 2 as my length. It is 2 cubes long. All right. My next one is going to be my width, and that always goes this direction. So how wide is it? And I happen to have 1, 2 cubes, so I'm going to put a 2 there. So my width, again, is 2 on this one. And my last one is going to be how many cubes high is this? So I'm going to say 1, 2, 3. So it is 3 cubes high. And I'm going to begin to solve this. And this is when we go back to that order of operations information. So I have to do this first. So 2 times 2 is 4. And I bring down my height. And then I say 4 times 3 is 12. So I have 12 cubic units. Now, hold on. Is that true? Well, in this row, and to make this bottom, I would needed 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? To make the middle one, I again needed 1, 2, 3, 4. I would need 4 cubes, see? And then I would need 4 cubes on the top. So, if that was true, 4 plus 4 plus 4 is 12. So I did it correctly because I know that it takes 12 Legos, 12 blocks, 12 cubes to make this shape.